Alright, so this is another update on the Baja or BLT build or whatever. So got another chassis here. You'll notice the ass is a lot different. So now I don't have to use the adapter plates, but you'll notice the front here will not fit the Losi. See how it's got the little notch in it? It will not fit the Losi front housing. So I ordered some new pieces. There's a bulkhead block or whatever that they call, something like that. It's orange, so I'm gonna try my hand at de-anodizing because I don't really want the orange. I'd like to stay with everything that's kind of like this grayed out look or silver. So that's kind of what I'm gonna try to do. So this video here, I'm just going to fit all the parts that I have, kind of see where everything's at, and then kind of go from there so I know what to get next, what I'm looking for. So this chassis, is a pretty cool little chassis. It's nice and thick. Let me get my calipers here and I'll tell you how thick it is. Alright, so I got the dial calipers. Got them zeroed out, and we're going to set them on millimeters. Okay, and we're just going to measure the thickness of the chassis here. So I'm showing 547. Hopefully that comes up right. It's probably backwards. 547, 548, something like that. So that's pretty thick chassis. I think it's going to work pretty good for what I want to do. So again, I'm going to get the parts off of the other one, kind of throw them on here, see where everything's at. So I'm going to set up a stand behind me, and then I'm just going to start transferring stuff over just to kind of mock it up, see where everything's at, because I thought I was ready for the actual build part before, and I could make the other one work. The problem is I'm going to have to cut and chop more than what I want. So I've kind of decided to go this route because if I ever need another chassis or I want to build another one later, I now have a Losi 5T chassis. So I know it's kind of an expensive mistake, but it's one that I think is worth just getting the right chassis, honestly. Because you can make the other stuff work, but the more you start cutting and chopping and stuff, especially on something like a chassis, you won't be able to bash as hard. It's going to make the area weak. I don't want to do all that. So when I started this off, I wanted to just make a 5T chassis work, and that would have been cool, and you could still do that. But I plan on, kind of beefing this thing up pretty good, so I don't want it to be weak in certain spots. So that's kind of why I decided to do what I'm doing here. So let's get everything set up here, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm now using my DJI mic. This is my little stand here that I'm going to be using. Hopefully you can see all that. So we're going to put the chassis up here, kind of get it orientated a little bit, like so. And we'll start on the back. Hopefully you can see. I think you can. There we go. A little bit better. So first things first, we're going to start with the rear end here. So this is what I currently have. Hopefully you can see all that. So we're basically just going to take off this whole setup here and put it down here. So I just got first a few bolts on the bottom here. I know you can't really see all that. Try to get a little better view. I think it uses a 3mm. Yeah, 3mm. So there's just a couple bolts here. Take these out, and the whole thing should slide right out. Oh. so I got the bolts out now. We no longer need this piece, and we no longer need the back chassis plate for the Baja. So we're going to take this off. So give me just a minute here. This is the Losi 5T chassis. Let's line them up here to show you the differences. So on the rear here, that's where it lines up in the back. You can see how the back's quite a bit different. And this is some of the stuff I'd have to be cutting off. This is why I don't want to do it. It has a break in the bottom here that's going to make it kind of weak back there. Same in the front. See how it's got a little more of a tilt in the front on the 5T chassis. So the other one is a little more flat. So we're going to try that out. So we'll set this chassis to the side. I'm sure I'll use it later for either another build or if something were to happen to the current one that I have. And we're just going to take out the 4 bolts on this one here, or actually I think there's more than 4. Yeah, I got several on here. So just get right on it. Take these out. See how nothing was really secured very well? I did that on purpose because I didn't want to put everything together with Loctite and stuff, especially since I didn't know how this truck was going to come out or how it was going to fit. So that's kind of where I'm at. We'll get all these bolts out of here. Set them to the side. Same with the ones for the back part here that intersect with the arms and the hinge pins. I don't know what they call them, hinge pin brace set or something, I don't know, I can't remember. Then we'll get the ones for the transmission in the front out. Now these are pretty short, so I don't know if I'll be using those again or not, but that just comes right off of there. And this is, again, for a Baja, so got a little hump right there, which is the whole purpose of having that piece of plastic there. Could have used this, could have cut and chopped on this or the other chassis, but I decided not to. So we'll save this for later as well. Now, to make everything fit here, let's see how it does actually fit. So there's where transmission goes, and as you can see, this here is not going to work. This is going to be a different fit. So we're going to have to get rid of that. Okay, so we're going to have to get rid of this, and we're going to have to get rid of this. Neither one of these are going to work, I don't believe. This one in the back might work, but I think I'm just going to save those for a Baja build. Kind of look online here and see what everything is. So we're going to go ahead and start kind of matching this up onto the chassis itself. Here we go. Pretty tight fit. Looks like I finally got it in there. It's real tight. Now that could be a good thing or a bad thing, or just a thing. Okay. Let's get them turned around the right way. And force it back in on this side here. Man. Yeah, that's tight. That's real tight. So I'm not crazy about how tight that sits, but maybe we can get a couple bolts in there and get it to lock down. That's what we'll do. We'll try to get a few bolts in here, see if we can get it to lock in. So this one here, I'm going to need a longer bolt. It can't take the short ones like I originally had, so we'll put the longer ones in there just for now. Just kind of get it to lock in. So now that it's actually on there, I'm going to be able to take my hand away and kind of work these other ones in. Now I'm trying to decide on whether to use my electric screwdriver, which I think would be the easiest way to do this. I don't usually like doing that because you can kind of strip things, but this here I think is going to need the extra force. So that's a 3, it should be it. Yep, that's it. So we're just going to kind of work it in a little at a time. Okay, we'll do like a cross pattern. And we'll just keep going back and forth until we get it all worked in. Okay, so that's as far as those bolts are going to go. So those are in all the way. Looks like on all sides except for this guy right here. And I still have a little bit here on this. I don't know if that's on purpose, but it's almost flush there. So I'm going to take a rubber mallet to this. Before I do that, I'm going to take this top screw out, take off the top plate, just for now. Set that to the side. Just see if I can kind of hit it in a little bit with the rubber mallet. So you'll notice that I have almost pretty flush here. Now on the bottom here, I don't know if you can see that on camera, there still is a little bit of a lip there. I don't think it goes in all the way, at least not on this chassis. So if I wanted to use that, I still could. The only problem that I have is if I wanted to use the front, see how it has the notch here, I have to probably take that away. Which I don't know that I want to do that because down underneath there is where that would go. So something like that. I don't know that that's what I want to do. So I think what I'm going to do is order the ones for the BLT on the back here. I'll still use this GTB transmission case because I like that. It's got a nice good tolerance. It feels good. It is aluminum, so we're going to go with that. So we'll leave those for the Baja later. Now, I do have all kinds of things that I thought was going to work on here, and I'm kind of trying to look at everything and see what the next step is, because this uses Baja parts, but it also uses 5T parts. So it's not going to use everything 100%. And as you see up here on the top, this isn't going to be 100%. I don't think when I get the new arm down here. Well, I don't know. It might match up. If it matches up just like this one here, it should. Because here's how the new one, or the old one, goes. So it might match right up. I hope so, because I don't really want to replace this stuff here. This is all Baja stuff, and I know it very well. I think just some of the hinge pin holders and stuff like that probably need to be BLT stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop over to the computer, check that out, and see what's actually supposed to be on this truck. Okay, so I just realized that I have to make another big order. So I had to order the front and rear bulkhead supports. I think they call them frames or something like that, for this guy here. And let me put this screw in here so I do not lose it. And there's a lot of pieces that aren't the same. So the hinge pin supports in the rear, I had to buy those just to get the arms on. And then in the front as well, I bought a block that should be coming in. That I already bought that the other day, so it should be here sometime this coming week. The other stuff is going to be another week or two out. So again, this is a slow process, guys, and I'm learning as I go, making mistakes, obviously. But I had to buy the bulkhead supports for the front, as well as the rear. And I don't think a lot of the parts that I currently have are able to be used. For example, the shock towers. These look like they're the same until you get to the sides here. So I don't know if that's something I can use or not. The notches here are a little different as well, so I'll kind of play it by ear when I get there. So, you know, it's going to be another thing to hold me up, but ain't really much I could do. Another one as well is this one here. I don't think it's the same. Some of these are Baja, some of these are Losi, and obviously the what I'm calling hinge pin brace mounts don't work. So for one, you have the notch right here that would sit in the front part of it, and this goes in the rear like so, I believe. These are nice for the Baja. You know, I've always used them for the Baja. Different colors. I've used plastic because I like the plastic anyway. I wanted to go a little stronger because I plan on putting something nice in this thing here. But yeah, I mean, even the top mounting bracket here. So this piece here, all these holes look like they line up over and through here, but it's missing 3 or 4 holes here and there, and then it's got this weird pattern in the center. So the pattern is for mounting the tower brace or whatever, which would be, I believe, this one. So it won't fit. So I had to kind of go back and redo a couple things here, which, you know, kind of sucks, but you know, I have Bajas, plenty of Bajas, and I have a Losi 5T, and now I have a second chassis for a Losi 5T, so maybe I'll do something with that later. But this is quite an expensive process, just to let you guys know. So it's going to take a little bit to get everything that I need. And, you know, it's not really, I won't say a disappointment. It's more of a learning curve on what you're going to need. The most aggravating part about a build like this is there is no instruction manual. Even if you want to replicate, which is what I've kind of moved over to, even if you want to replicate the full hybrid that Rowan RC offers, there is no manual for it. You got to search out the parts yourself. If you don't know what they're called, they kind of get lost in the mix, and you got to find it out as you go, which is kind of what I'm doing here. I match stuff up, which, you know, to what I thought would be, and just little oddities, you know, don't fit. It's like even these plastic hinge pin ends or holders or whatever. So I like these because they have like the metal pieces that go inside them, and they fit something like this. You use these on Bajas all the time. But the notches, the way they're cut out and stuff, don't line up with the current chassis, so that can't work. It won't work on the front or the rear, so the ones in the rear kind of line up for the front, But anyway, yeah, there's going to be a lot of parts here that I'm probably going to buy duplicates, maybe even triplicates, till I figure out what's what. So that's kind of where we're at. I'm going to stop the video here, kind of like a short little update. I just wanted to keep it going here a little bit so you guys could see what I'm dealing with here. If you're building along, with me and trying to do this yourself, you're going to find a lot of these same problems. Best thing that I know that we could do is just help each other out. So as I find things, the video might be a little weird or short, or just might be about one subject or whatever. I'm just going to try to put in as much information as I can. That way, if you're trying to do this yourself, you know what you're doing, and you don't have to waste the money like I did. For me, it's not really a waste because I have tons of other ones here, and it's always nice to have spare parts. I break stuff all the time, but it would be nice to buy what I need from the get-go. You can find plenty of manuals for Baja 5T or Baja 5Bs, 5Ts, 5SCs. You can find the same thing for Losi 5T, the LT series on the Rovens, the short ones, the regular LTs, but you can't find a manual for the hybrid, the BLT hybrid. I don't know why. I don't know what that's about. Maybe it's just too new. I don't know. But it's kind of annoying. So it's kind of like, you gotta thumb through it kind of yourself, which is what I'm doing right now. And it's expensive, so it's going to take me a while versus buying the roller truck, which I didn't want to do that and then put a whole bunch of like billet stuff on it and everything. I know a lot of guys do that, but I want to do something a little different than what I've done in the past. And this one I wanted to build from scratch, kind of upgraded in certain areas kind of thing. And I don't really care how long it takes me to build this, which is why I'm just kind of doing a little here and there. And also I don't have unlimited funds, so just as I get a little bit, I'll throw into it and kind of go from there. I would suggest, if you're doing something similar like that, do the same thing slowly, piece at a time, if you don't know which pieces to buy, because they don't all fit. And I kind of had a feeling I was going to be doing some of that as well, which is why I kind of backed off of the other chassis. I could have chopped everything else, and made all that stuff work, but it would have been kind of weak. And that's not what I'm wanting. I'm wanting to build something a little nicer, I'm tired of kind of making things fit just because, I don't have the funds or whatever. So I wanted to kind of do this one a little bit different. So it's kind of where we're at. And I don't know when the next video on this is going to be. Probably when I get the other parts in, I'll show you like the fitment and stuff on those, and we'll kind of ascertain what we need next. Since now I have an idea of where to find the parts that I need and which ones are different. So yeah, just kind of stay tuned, guys, and maybe I'll get something together, as far as I'll do a video or something on like a list of things that you might need or whatever. I don't know, that seems like a big daunting task, and I don't want to put things in that they might change later. So I don't know, I may do that, I may not. Just kind of follow along for now on what I'm actually doing here, and you'll notice what pieces are different, because I always point it out. So far it's been the short part of the Baja chassis, you can't use that. The bulkhead braces in the rear, you can't use those. The top brace for the transmission, can't use that. Towers, can't use those. Now on the Losi 5T side, as far as what I know you can't use, is you can't use the front bulkheads, which are these here. And this is diff cover, bulkhead, whatever, everything all in one. You can't use those. You have to buy a special bracket for the bottom if you're going to use that chassis. Something that I don't know is, are these Losi 5T arms going to fit, or do I have to buy brand new arms? That I don't know yet either. again, a reason why I bought nylon, because I could be replacing them. I don't know. So they're cheap, and I can use them on the other truck as well. So, you know, it's not a waste. It's just, you know, added things that I don't really need right now. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, so as we progress along with this here, you know, we'll try to get something similar to an idea of how to do this, and hopefully it'll turn out badass. So I'm looking forward to get to the end, but again, it's going to be a while. It might take me a year to do this. I don't know. So we'll just kind of keep it as an ongoing project. Take it out from time to time when I get some money to throw into it. I've got a couple other ones I need to get to as well, like the Thunder Tiger and things like that. I'm still waiting on some of the parts for that. So yeah, this one's fun, a little frustrating, but it's also, I think, going to be well worth it. So yeah, just stay tuned, guys, and I'll get another one out here when I get the parts in. Thanks for watching, guys.